Dr. Acton will be signing an order that all bars in the state and all restaurants will close at 9 o'clock tonight.
Staff, right off the bat, what are we going to do with all these people? What are we going to, how are we going to keep them paid? How are we going to, keep them going? And at first it was like, how do you make cuts? How do you, who do you decide, and what you're gonna do, who you're gonna keep, and whatever goes on. But a lot of that went away very quickly once we figured out that the PPP was going to be something that we could jump on soon. So instantly, everything runs through your head. We're like, what are we going to do to reinvent the business? And a lot of ideas popped up very quickly. We knew that we were going to have to can beer right off the bat. We knew that takeout was just going to be everything, which wasn't a problem. I mean, we did a fair share of that beforehand. And then you start worrying about menu items with that as well. What's going to travel well. The nachos are going to get out of here because there's no way anybody wants soggy chips in a box. More focus on sandwiches, things like that. But first was staff. In regards to the outdoor dining, it seemed very helpful. We had to get, it wasn't going to work for us. We knew that. We looked into it. With all the ADA guidelines, we didn't have enough sidewalk to make that happen. We don't really have great neighbors in terms of all the parking lots around us that would allow something like that. But in terms of the timing, it seemed like the right thing to do for sure. We got to get something going in terms of seating. For the in dining to happen so shortly after that, it did seem a little rushed, for sure. Why go through all of this with patios and then, so quickly right behind it, just allow everything to be back inside as well. So, once again, we lucked out in that regard, where we knew we weren't going to get much outside, but we had this big open door in the front of the building, and we could just bring people in and have them spaced out enough where it wasn't going to be an issue. There didn't seem to be a lot of teeth behind, the decision to reopen. It's great that these are all sort of suggestions as to what you need to do to have dine-in happen again, but it didn't seem like there was much consequence for just throwing the doors open and letting everybody in and commingling and do whatever they wanted. So that, of course, all got played out in the months to come afterwards, where it was all kinds of people are getting hundreds of different violations and whatnot, and you knew you were going to have those businesses that were just going to let anything happen. But we recognized right off the bat that we wanted to be the place that was going to be safe, and that there was a large amount of people out there that wanted to go somewhere and feel safe. So it's a smear on the whole industry, that there those people that are out there, and they're just going to let the whole thing happen. But there's a good portion of us out there that recognize that you're going to get more people to come in if you just play it safe as well. The kitchen staff, we really only lost one person, even when we opened for takeout. Once again, the PPP helped out immensely with that. I still have not found enough hours to bring that person back. The front of the house, we lost probably 50%, and we're able to bring, let's say, 25% of that back. So we're at 75% in the front of the house, right? So that seems to kind of be where we're at this point. That's going to completely depend on increased hours and increased seating. So I don't see us having increased seating until a vaccine, so summer of next year. And I think that goes the same for the back of the house too. I just don't, unless there's changes in the staff we have, people going back to school, whatever it might be, things are going to be pretty much the same as they are now. We as takeout, we definitely had just this small bar that we could hit. But once you get people back in there, it just increases sales. We still have the people that want to come in for takeout, plus you now have everybody that's willing to fill up those seats as well. That for sure allowed us to bring staff back and increase sales. Takeout did very well, and it probably would have done well for a while. But once seating opened up, that was it. Takeout was done. So you had to open up. You weren't going to make it off of just takeout anymore. No, when people started coming back into the restaurant, we had a good plan mapped out. We knew that communication was going to be key with all the customers. And when they come in, it's like they're getting in line at Geauga Lake or Cedar Point, here's the rules, keep your hand and feet inside the car at all times, here's the one person occupancy on the bathroom, and this is the light you hit so everybody knows somebody's in the bathroom. And you see the front of the house staff go through each table when they come in the door and let them know exactly how it's going to be. And honestly, the most surprised I'm about with anything is just how compliant everybody has been. Really, we don't have very many problems. Of course, you're going to get those few people. But for the most part, they just turn around and leave. So it's not, nobody's grandstanding, nobody's making any kind of a point, but it's, yeah. It was a great start. We definitely need Congress to enact some more legislation to help out independent restaurants for sure. The Restaurant Act that they're throwing around right now, although I haven't seen too much about it lately, would be the defining thing that could help everybody out. That being the difference between the sales that you made last year and what's happening now. You could bring staff on, you could operate as normal, even though that the business isn't there. That would be the single most important thing to keep everybody going in terms of independent restaurants. People can best support independent restaurants simply by going out and eating at these places, and if you don't feel comfortable in being in the actual facility, obviously takeout is still a fantastic option to keep everybody going. There's a ton of options. Everybody's, just grabbing at whatever they can get. So whatever that is spend your money locally. Absolutely, the people of Northeast Ohio can, let Congress know that help is absolutely needed for these places, for their favorite restaurants, for their favorite dining establishments. They can, for sure write, email, whatever they need to do, raise a stink about it. Let them know that, just going out to eat occasionally isn't going to be enough to keep these businesses going and the people that rely on these businesses to keep going. It's not just the restaurants either, right? It's like the supply chain. It's everybody. All these people have suffered, you know, for quite a while, and they're scraping by to keep those people employed and whatnot as well. So, you know, let Congress know that this has to happen.